Right, as sort of promised, it's now the day after the draw because I never got anything done yesterday. I'm going to go through my 130 and have a look at it for winter. Do a little bit of touch up in for rust if there is any, with some crown rust proofing. Drink up. So, I think first of all, I'm going to split this video into two. For the simple reason, I know I've got door problems on this truck. Now, this isn't really the run-of-the-mill truck, as you know. This was built out of pieces, and actually the door frames came out of a crashed car, so I'm not sure if they're actually right. But I'm not going to correct them, I'm just going to get them to shut the best they can. They've been a pain since day one, and I think it was because the rubbers were so hard I was trying to compensate for them. Now I've got some Puma rubbers. I've got one on the passenger door, on the driver's door, but not on the passenger door, so I'll have those to fit. But let's have a quick look round and do a winter checklist. I think first of all, we'll try, if we've got room, we'll try and get it on the lift and we'll have a look underneath and check around and just do a visual. I want to do this like to say it's like a 10-minute or a 15-minute winter check. Something that you could do at home, but obviously I've got the benefit of having a lift, but you can put a trolley jack underneath and scurry underneath and have a quick look, and we'll show you what you can have a look at. The idea is so it don't break down in when it's very, very cold, or eliminate the possibilities of it breaking down when it's very, very cold, and working it outside in the snow. No fun. It must have been a year since I looked at this, and you're going to say, that's bad maintenance, Mike. Well, I don't think I've done 1,000 kilometres this year in it. Maybe 2,000. I don't do all that much. I have an hours meter in there, so I usually run it off the hours, and I haven't done that many hours with it anyway. So, I'm not the best of maintenance myself, but I can't be looking at everything every 5 minutes. I just haven't got time. I won't tell you. What we're going to do first of all, now the vehicle's up in the air, these tyres we're going to have a look at, just see if there's any cuts and splits or anything like that in them, which there probably isn't. Get your flashlight out there and have your torch. Now these tyres I managed to snaffle off somebody else's job that we're throwing out because they had the tracking wrong, and well, they wore off the insides a little bit, but they're sort of legal, but well, not very good. But being four-wheel drive, we don't care. That's alright. No cuts. No. Now what we're going to check for also, because here we are in Quebec, sunny Quebec, that we have to make sure that these are winter tyres, and they've got a little snowflake on here. Let's see if we can get a zoom onto the old snowflake. Just let it focus in a bit. Where is it? Here. Wait a minute, coming around. There, sorry about that. Got a little snowflake there. It means they're suitable for winter driving, because what they're doing now, they sort of get into a situation where there's a lot of zones here that they don't want to put salt on the road. It's not to stop corrosion, it's just to save money. The environment. That's right. So once we've checked our tyres, make sure they're alright for winter, we're going to give them a quick check and make sure that they're nice and tight. Now this one isn't. This one's got a little bit of play on it, this way, but not so much this way. Is it a wheel bearing, or is it the top swivel pin needs reshimming? Good question. But first of all, so we'll make a mental note of that, I've probably forgotten, and we're going to go around the back wheel as well. Now you probably won't be able to see. Now these have got really good tyres on here. That's good. They're all a matching set anyway. They are tight as a tiger, they're good. While we've got our little torch out, we're going to have a look under each wheel station. We're going to check for rust, corrosion on here. It's very, very good with checking the springs, make sure that they're not cracked, the shocks are not leaking. Oh, fucker. Anyway. We're going to check the brake pipes. I thought battery was going to. We're going to check the brake pipes for corrosion, also attachment. We're going to check the condition of the upper portion of the flex hose. Again, checking chassis, make sure that's okay. Usually, if the car's been rust proof, now this was done with a wax rust proofing about 7 years ago and it's still very good. But some telltale signs of cracks and corrosion is that rust makes a stain. I'll see if we can find something that's on there that might have come to some damage. But it looks so far so good. Mud flaps are properly attached. No, they're not. There's the thing to look for. Yeah, I've got to do that. I've got to make another bracket for the mud flap. Let me drag this across here. Let's see if I'll take the bloody camera. Here. See here? It's cracked. I think I'll take it off and weld it actually. That's the problem with these mud flaps. And you can see where it's been welded quite heavily before. This had a lot of welding. I had to put a new outrigger on and put a plate on there before. This has had a lot of work onto it. Yeah, we're just having a look around. Quick peek at the top of the exhaust. That's okay. Like I said, the chassis and the box frame's good. All the pipes are nicely attached. Shocks are good. That gator doesn't look good, but it's alright. The springs always pop out on these trucks when I lift it up on the 4-post lift. Again, we're looking at the brake hoses from the top. This is a top inspection. Attachments, no cuts, no leaks. Look at that. Is there any oil in it? Who knows? Quick look. Yeah, that looks alright. The bushes look good, there's no cuts and splits in those. Fuel hoses, no leaks. They're alright. Lights, I noticed that light there is broken. I hit that with a forklift, I'm going to have to change that. That's another thing, remind me on. Mud flaps are good. Rear lights, apart from being filthy, are good. Oh, look, there's our test. Funnily enough, while we're looking at this, that piece there was the test without any, just ordinary wire wool. But look at the one in the middle there. That was done with engine oil. That's coming to pieces. Crown rust proofing, looking good. Looking very good. Can't remember what that was. Oh, that was WD-40, that one. That's knackered. And that one, I think that one was some sort of a wax. I'll have to have a look on my list. I'll write it down later. Lights are good. I've got a little hole in there. Not the end of the world. The attachment for the towing hitch looks good. Bolts look tight. Like I say, if you see a loose bolt, you'll see rust bleeding down. Maybe not in Australia because you don't get rust. But we're having a quick look round. There, see that light's broken as well. I'll have to get a set of lights, I think. They work, but they're going to let water in. Looking at the fuel tank, make sure all the hoses are attached still, in good order. Like I said, this is a visual test of the top of the, while we're at the top before we go underneath. Yeah, you see what I mean about rust. As soon as the rust proofing goes, it starts to go rusty, so I've got to touch that up a bit. Not too bad. And the exhaust is starting to go around here. They always go on the joints. This was a Britpart one, you know, with a 24-month warranty. Just to say it gets through 24 months and it's knackered. Pipes are all attached on this side. Everything's good here. Let's have a look round here. Yeah, you see rust just starting to come through there, so we'll put some crown rust proofing on that. Pipes, there's a bit of wet there, I don't know where that's coming from. I'll inspect that later. This shocker here looks a bit wet. I might have to replace that, but not now. This is because, like I said, it's just a major winter check. Check the mud flap on that, that's good. Underneath, bushes are good. Right, I'll put the camera back on the stand and then I'll check these wheel bearings here. So I'm shooting this again just to be a bit clearer. Didn't seem to come over too well when I played it back, so this is why videos take a long time. We've got a problem with some play in this wheel station here. This wheel here is a bit loose, but it doesn't feel loose this way, but it feels loose this way. So how can we eliminate if it's a wheel bearing or a swivel pin shim that needs shimming up or replacing? It's kind of easy. What we've done is we've locked up the wheel. Now you can get a friend to do it if you've got any friends, like not like me, like. Or you can jam up the pedal like I'll show you in a minute with a block of wood. All right, that's easy. By blocking up the pedal and applying the brake, you can eliminate the wheel bearing because it'll lock, the caliper will lock the brake and the hub all together. So it's one unit. If there is still play after that, then it's the top pin. Can you see here? The pin needs a shim taking out. If it's not very clear, let me know. But that's easy because there's no play this way. It's solid. It's solid that way, but there's play that way, so it has to be the top pin. Now, if it's the other way around, if there's no play at all, right? If there's no play at all, once you've locked up the brake, then you let the brake up and there's still play, it's a wheel bearing. Is that okay? Good. Back to the video. See, it's ever so simple. Just jam a piece of wood between the seat base and the pedal. Locks up the pedal. Now on this side wheel, here, we have no play at all. So that means we've got play in the wheel bearing. Right? So, we'll put that on the list. So we've got to take a shim out that side, adjust the wheel bearing on that side. It is kind of confusing because they feel exactly the same. But like I say, when you block up the wheel, when you block up the brake, it locks the hub and the bearings all together, if you see what I mean. They can't move, but it can move on the swivel pin. The whole assembly can move, and that's how you can identify them. So we've got a quick note there. Let's have a look underneath. So here we are at the front, having a quick look round to see what there is. What do we find straight away? Well, looks like the mud shield's rotted off. Not that you need them. But also, I think more importantly, I've noticed here that the steel retaining ring has started to break at the top. There's a little tiny leak out of there, but I'm not really bothered about that. Swivel balls are good. This one's okay. Like I say, the ring's on, shield's on. Is it tight? No, it's broke off here, look. So I'll have to do so. I think I'll have this in the shop. It's not detrimental, but I'll have it in and fix it up over winter. Again, no leaks out the axle. Bushes look good. Whoa, look at that. It's not leaking. I'll have to sort that out. Yeah, needs a little bit more rust proofing on it. Just having a quick look round. Now this isn't an Isuzu in here, so it's not quite the same as your truck. So, well, I'll move the light and we'll continue. We're looking for cuts and splits in rubbers here. Bushes look good. Everything looks good. The steering is kind of tight on this, so I'm not bothered. Split pins are in. Yeah, so we've got to make a note of that. What's the rubbers like on here? They're good. What's they like? They're good too. That's alright. Yeah, let's have a look further underneath. It looks like there's a bit of a weep out of the front seal of the diff. Nothing too detrimental. It's not pouring out. I'm going to check the levels later, but most importantly, it's not leaking out of here. It's just blowing across here. Nothing really. Nothing to get excited about. Mountings are good. Rattle on your prop shaft, make sure that's alright. Joints are good, I'll give those a grease up. Like I say, I'll bring it back in the shop We'll have a look at the exhaust, that's alright, no hanging wires or anything like that, no leaks out of the transmission. A few leaks out of the engine, but I'm not bothered about that. The problem is it's got one of those breathers that comes out of here. Just let me move the light now. Yeah, it's got a breather coming out of here, so it sort of leaks down. There's also a bit of an oil leak coming out of the adapter block that I had to make. I wish I could get hold of a better filter system. That was the original truck one, it's too big. It's got 2 filters on it and it's a bit too much sometimes. Yeah, so it tends to leak down here a bit. I'm not really bothered about that at all. I'm not bothered. I don't get all anal about leaks. It keeps rust off. What else have we got under here? Nothing really. I should really tie that brake pipe up, that handbrake cable up a bit. Pipes are all clamped up okay, chassis is good. Yeah, you can't see that, can you? I'll have to keep moving the light. Rust coming out the handbrake drum, that's good. That's a good sign it's not leaking. Yeah, that's alright there, let's keep going. Exhaust's looking a little bit rusty. I don't know about that. I thought it was blowing a bit, but I might be wrong. Yeah, chassis, let's have a look at this back prop. Make sure that all the props are nicely retained. You can see the rust coming off here, look. But I should have made a stainless one. Yeah, nothing really to report here. I'll move the light again. Rear prop shaft, not too bad. Tiny bit of knocking in the diff, but not enough to justify taking it out. Joints are good. Give them a good old rattling along. These are good. This was a new prop shaft, so I haven't really got much of a concern about that. What else? Ooh, there's a bush up there that's not quite right, look. I think I'll have to move the light again and find out what's going wrong with that one. No leaks out of the axle, so that's good. That's rare, isn't it? Yeah, move the light again. Move along the bus. Yeah, there's something strange with this bush up here, but it looks like it's been like that for a long time. It looks like it's not gone all the way through. I don't know why that is. Strangely, it should look like that. Is it detrimental? Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, the axle looks good. This looks nice. No splits in the rubber. Nice and tight. There's a bit of wetness coming from around this tank. I don't know where. It seems to be isolated. I think the tank's leaking. It was supposed to be a new one. We'll move the light in a minute. We're just going to check for rust and things like that around these bushes. Make sure they're nice and tight. I know it's got an anti-roll bar and not a lot of people like them, but there we go. I've got some splits on the bushes here. Again, not detrimental. They're a little bit nasty. Shocks are good. Need a little bit of touch-up rust proofing. Not too bad. Let's have a look at this tank. Yeah, this is typical. This tank must be about 7 years old. You can see what I mean about rust stains, where it's rusty and it's coming out. Look at this. Now this hasn't been out in the wet, that's diesel. Just starting to leak, you see that? Oh, don't want to get that in my clothes. This is a replacement tank. How can I tell? Because it's got the small bung on here. The other ones had a larger bung. So even though it was well rust proofed, it's the muck and the rubbish has got between the seal. Very discouraged, but well, things don't last forever. I haven't got a tank, so that's going to have to live a little while. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to bring this in over winter. That's just rust proofing that's coming off there, look. These brackets aren't looking too good, but well, they're alright I suppose. I get a bit picky now in my old age. At least they haven't broke. I don't know whether I'll keep that anti-roll bar on if I do the tank, but yeah, no, I'm going to have to do the tank. Cross member's looking good. I have no problems with that. I had to replace all this chassis. Well, I actually made it going from this end all the way to the outrigger support there. Made that about 7 years ago. Alright, well that's not too bad. What we'll do now, I'll check off the levels, top them up while it's on the lift, and then we'll drop it down and we'll do some check all the lights and stuff like that.